Welcome back to the Chorizo Bros. This is Joseph back at it again with another book review for you. Now, I've been trying to fill in a little bit of the space in between our main videos, our movie book discussions. Our next upcoming couple of ones are going to be Dead Man's Walk by Larry McMurtry, and it's going to be me and the guys kind of talking about that and the miniseries that they did about it. And then I'm going to bring Aryan and Brandon back in, and we're going to do a Huckleberry Finn and James discussion. But everyone's got to get caught up and we've got to sync all of our schedules together, and that might take a little bit of time. So I've been in that time knocking out some books on my own, trying to just sort of keep the show going and keep myself from getting bored while I'm waiting on the guys to get caught up. Today we're going to be talking about a book that came to my attention in a unique way. So I was going through Red Letter Media. I'm sure most of you guys are familiar with their videos. Mike Stacklasa, shout out. Jay, you're the best. So I was going through their videos and they'd done an episode on Bone Tomahawk, which was done by a director I hadn't heard from before. And they kind of talk about that movie, and it's cool. I watched that movie. It's very good. In their discussion talking about Bone Tomahawk and the director, one of them, I think Jay, talks about how he discovered that S. Craig Zahler not only directed the Bone Tomahawk movie, he wrote books as well. So I thought that was cool. I was like, oh man, that's awesome. I want to see what's up with that, because a lot of creative people need to shine in a lot of different types of ways, and they want to make different types of things. I went to Raw Dog Screaming Press, and I found their website, and I ordered a couple of their books, S. Craig Zahler's books particularly. And yeah, I got my hands on a book called A Congregation of Jackals. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. If you've seen Bone Tomahawk, this is going to be an easy jump from this sort of horror Western type vibe to reading this book. This is going to be an easy jump for you. If you're familiar with the Western genre in general, you're probably used to surprises. You're probably used to survival. You're probably used to the landscapes of it and the random acts of violence that can be committed that can really just change the course of a story. This has that in spades. So that's going to be a huge shout out to S. Craig Zahler's unique ability to ramp up, really ramp up the suspense right before an explosion of violence happens. And this is the case in Bone Tomahawk for sure, the movie, but a lot in this. This is a real exploration of the buildup of it, where you're really just unsure about the next thing that's going to happen, because these characters are varying degrees of horrific, and when they come into contact with the quote unquote the straight character, the just regular person, and then sort of when they're getting tested, it starts off with a it reminded me it starts off with the scene that reminded me of the scene in Inglorious Bastards, where the Jew hunter is sitting across the gentleman at the table, and they're drinking milk and whatever, and the people are hiding underneath the floorboards. That suspense, that's what this opening scene feels like. It was like, whoa, this is what the hell is going to happen? Like you really feel it ramping up, and I can't tell you how much I appreciated that as a reader, to kind of feel it as I'm reading it. Not a lot of books can do that. I mean, this guy really makes you feel like you're there. He writes it in a way that it's not just here's what's happening. It's like you're as unsure as they are if these guys that come in the saloon are going to be a problem or not. Can you diffuse some of the discomfort that they're bringing with just, hey, I'm just going to kill them with kindness. I'm just going to be friendly, and then I don't have to feel as stressed out about this. And then when that doesn't work, well, what after that? And it's incredible. So that opening scene really got me. Overall, the book is good. This didn't really blow me away in terms of the entirety of the story. I think I really enjoyed, again, the suspense, but also just the way the characters are described and how they all feel like real people. I always shout that out in any book that I read, where I really like a well written character that all of their decisions make sense for them. When they start doing things that don't make sense for the character you've built, this has to be a shock that makes sense. Otherwise, it doesn't land, right? I need the characters to make decisions and to speak in ways that are consistent with how they've been built, and I feel like that really happens here. There's a couple of decisions that you go, all right, well, that was kind of not where I expected that to go, but it makes sense for the characters. So I gotta give that one a thumbs up. But I don't think that there's anything super deep going on here. I think it can just be an entertaining foray into violence and suspense and cool Western shit. I think that's all this really needs to be. It isn't. It isn't going to sit with me long term the way something like Blood Meridian does. That's definitely an exploration of violence, or the big journey of Augustus McCrae and Woodrow F. Call and Lonesome Dove. It doesn't have that long lasting thing, and I don't mean that in like the scope has to be huge and this book has to be like this thick. It's not a large book, and that's fine. It doesn't need to be. I think more so that it's just an exercise in his writing ability is really just setting the tone, setting the mood, and you kind of just are going to go through the story, and you're going to have this roller coaster of oh shit that happened, oh shit that happened, crazy action, crazy violence, and if you're into that, then let's just fucking have fun with it. It doesn't need to be anything more, and I think we don't necessarily need something to be this grand epic thing in order to give it a 5 out of 5 or a 4 or whatever, but we can go, all right, well, that was really well written and I'm interested in seeing this finish. And that can be just an amazing story on its own, and you can get shouted out for that, and I'm going to be interested in covering more of S. Craig Zahler's books, even if it's not in the Western genre, right? Because I hear he's supposed to be doing some science fiction thing. I'm unsure. This definitely got me interested in this guy's writing style and where he's going to go with this. Is this just a one trick pony? It feels like kind of a derogatory way to say that. Does he only shine in this genre? Is this really his going to be his like big thing? Or can he jump from that to science fiction, or that to family drama, or that to crime, or whatever? I think he probably can. I haven't read, other than Race of the Broken Land, which is another one similar to this. If you can read this or Bone Tomahawk, I think this is really going to fit in that style of the things you're used to with Zahler. We'll see what kind of writer he's going to be. And like I said, it doesn't really need to be that deep. It can just be some fun. Definitely a 4 out of 5. Really fun. Really only going to recommend it for somebody that does like violence, does like suspense, does like Western stuff. Definitely not going to recommend it for anybody that can't handle the dark. I've kind of gone real far, real deep on this show with these dark subject matter, and I'm probably going to go even deeper. So there's some. I know that a lot of people, when they read, they want to lay out at the beach or by the pool or whatever, and just read a fun suspenseful story, and it just be that where you're going, oh that's crazy, that's fun. It's just entertainment. I definitely almost put this in that arena, but I can't see anybody relaxing and reading this. I don't see somebody just being like, oh, I can't wait to go lay out by the pool and read Congregation of Jackals. I don't really see that happening. The very basic plot of this is the kind of beginning character. It's either Oswald or Boswell. I'm sorry for forgetting that, but basically he's an old bandit that gets a wedding invitation from one of his old bandit buddies, and it's sort of he's left this behind for so long, and it reignited something in him where he's gonna go, and his wife doesn't know that he's got this past of being involved in this gang, so he wants to go forward with going to this wedding, but it's this what's supposed to be interpreted as a joyous occasion is all of a sudden tinged with this reliving your past mistakes and reliving who you left behind as yourself, and him having to sort of come to terms with that, and through this get his gang buddies back together, and then there's this one fella who didn't let that life go, and he's gonna be involved here, and he wants there's going to be these clashes of the ones that don't want to be about that life anymore, and then the guys that never stopped. So that's where this is, and then it all ends up at this crazy stand down at a church at a wedding, and that's the basic story here, guys. That's if you can kind of accept that for what it is, it's really good. There was a framing device with the storytelling that I wanted to see explored a little bit more. Zahler, you did a really good job on that, and I that was probably my favorite part of the book. Believe it or not, it was just very. I was kind of like sucked into that story as the framing device. It's kind of odd, but basically he's writing a letter. I think it's Oswald is writing a letter while he's on a train. So he's sort of explaining. He's trying to like find the right words, and he's explaining what's going on. And hey, I didn't really want you to know this about me in the past. And intercut with writing these paragraphs out. Like you got to think it's pen and ink time. You know, where he's dipping it in the ink, and he accidentally gets some of the ink on the tablecloth, and he has a conversation with one of the guys in the train or hotel. I don't remember where it is, but that concept of explaining to us what happened through the visage of him telling it to his wife and sort of being like, "Hey, if you read this, I might be dead." Um, so I'm going to lay it all out. So that's the way he sort of tells us exactly what happened, but you can tell there's this like stiff, like cold where he goes, "Well, I just need to tell her and I just got to get it out on paper." And then it's intercut with like stuff that's going on around him in his environment. I found that to be I don't know why. I don't know why I found that to be some of the most interesting parts of this, where it just felt like a unique way to tell that story, and the intercut of like accidentally spilling the ink or just like the conversations that are interrupted around him. I really enjoyed that. I was like, okay, cool. It didn't distract me. It felt like a living, breathing world, and I have to say that I really appreciated that. So yeah, shout out to you, Zeller, on that one. That was cool. I wish there was more of that in here. I wish it was a little bit more filled out with that sort of stuff, because that thing that made me feel like I was in the environment was the best stuff of this book. The suspense is top notch, but then it was that. I gotta like shake prairie dust off my clothes. Like that's how much it felt like I was there. On that note, I'm gonna get out of here. I got some more reading to do. I'm gonna bring some more stuff for you guys until we can get the big episodes in. I'm probably gonna do Wraiths of the Broken Land at some point, maybe soon, while I'm on this sort of revisiting westerns, because that's just where my head's at right now. So that's probably going to come up very soon. I don't know. This thing is just kind of up in the air. There isn't really a set schedule for any of this stuff. But yeah, again, like always, I really want you guys to tell me what I should do next, make some recommendations on what arena we want to go in next. Is it going to be science fiction? Should I hit a fantasy book? I don't know. True crime, something. Lay it on me, guys. Give me some work to do. This has been a really fun year so far in reading and some of the videos that I've made. And, it's been the best, you guys. So, all of you that have been supporting me from the beginning, those of you that joined us a little bit later, thank you so much. I really do appreciate all of you that come in and comment and have stuff to say. It just goes a long way and keeps me motivated to come out here. There's some times where I don't really feel like doing it. And you guys pull me out of that funk. I'm ready to come in here and get the juices, creative juices flowing. So yeah, guys. Thank you again. We'll see you on the next one. Appreciate it.